They told us to go quietly. We're turning it up. This is the Present Day Wise Woman podcast. Raw, real conversations with women who've lived, lost, risen, and refused to disappear. I'm Jennifer Jefferies, naturopath speaker, and proudly in my wise woman years. Here we talk truth, health, power, aging, and living fully after 40, 50, and beyond. No fluff, no playing small, no fading out. Just women rising in their full colour. If you felt invisible, overlooked, or just done with the rules, you belong here. They got tired of the script that says a woman her age is supposed to accept gracefully what's left. The Nannas from Cardiff in Wales are 5 women over 50 who picked up guitars and formed a punk band. I bloody love that. Not to find themselves, not to inspire their grandkids, but because something inside them refused to die quietly. They've been on BBC documentaries, they're on the Guardian covers, and they're playing international festivals. But more than that, they're proof that the woman you're becoming doesn't have to ask permission. And it's not too late to start something that actually lights you up. They're here! They're bloody legends themselves! I'm so excited. I found you girls on, you punk rockers, I found you on Instagram. I thought, I have to have these women on the show. So welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. First of all, we're not all from Cardiff. Most of us live in Newport and just outside Newport, which is it's not far from Cardiff, about 10 miles. But it feels important to say because Cardiff's a big city and Newport for a long time is often in the shadow of Cardiff and another big city, Bristol. So Newport is this place which is very easy to overlook at times, or people go, oh yeah, I changed trains at Newport. So I think
they're from Newport and Cardiff as the backstory.
Yeah.
How's that? I love it. Oh my gosh. So you all could have kept your life exactly as it was, stable and predictable, and instead you chose to be in a punk band. Why did you have to be willing to lose in that choice? And did you lose it? Like, did anyone go, what the fuck?
Oh,
well, I don't think...
My life was never stable and predictable.
Nor mine.
Oh, just legends all the time then.
Yeah. And before the Nannas, it just felt like there'd been a series of things just falling apart. And so you just hit a point where you go, I don't really know. The ground doesn't even feel stable anymore, So, for me, nothing's ever been that stable. But the timing was just really perfect for me, just seeing workshops for women over 50. And it was like, I like jamming with people. And I felt like I hadn't played for a while. So, it was good timing for me. But everyone's going to have a very different story and introduction to how they came about it. But you're different.
Yeah, my husband saw the advert actually for the punk workshops, and he thought, "Oh, Claire will be into that." Not that I play an instrument or had any kind of background in that, but he just thought I'd find it fun. Which, I was like, yeah, definitely. That Sunday afternoon sorted out. Just went along and started from there really. So a lot of my friends have been really surprised that I'm now in a band because that's never been on the cards. And then suddenly we're playing gigs.
Well, not just playing gigs, you're rocking it. Oh my gosh. What about Anne-Marie? How did you come to this?
Yeah, so I live in a cottage in a village of 2, actually, in the middle of nowhere. So there's my neighbour John, who does Land Rover vehicles, and me, the punk rocker of the village, and that's it. And on a Sunday afternoon, I usually go in to see my mum, who's in a care home. And it's really quite draining, as you can imagine, because my mum has advanced dementia. And for me, it's a 45-minute journey. I thought, how am I going to make this so it actually works for me as well? And I could see these free workshops on Facebook and just thought, do you know what? Before I go down to the nursing home, I'm going to go and have a laugh with whoever turns up there. So that's how I ended up going there.
All right. So who was a muso before? Because there's a big difference between I want to learn guitar to I'm going to form a punk band. What flipped the switch?
Well, it's funny because I think becoming a band was never an intention. You know, it was just sort of playing and going to these workshops, and then they just continued. So we carried on meeting and jamming, and then we did a gig, and people just seemed to really love it. I mean, it was chaotic. It was, you know,
That's
really
what punk
chaotic.
is.
Exactly. And I think it
It's
kind
meant to
of
be.
just sparked this thing of, oh yeah, it's going back to the source of the chaosness of it. And it's just like one thing leads to another. So I don't think any of us really went, let's form a band. We just became a band.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of money left in funding for the original workshop. So we
Yeah.
had some rehearsal time put in, and suddenly it was like, oh, okay, well, we've got this group of women. We kind of got some instruments going on. Some people know what they're doing, some people don't. And we've got a slot at the Cab in Newport, which is a lovely dingy hardcore punk venue in Newport. We've got a slot every Tuesday night where we can rehearse. So we just did it. We just went, didn't we? And then next thing we know, we're writing songs and things are developing from there.
All right. So what do you all play?
I play guitar and I do some singing.
Yep.
And I do singing, play bass, and a key drummer.
And you play that.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I play like a tin whistle on one of the songs. And
sometimes you'll play a pillar with some drumsticks.
yeah, I don't.
Play a
It's
pillow?
like
Okay.
a pillar, like or the building. Play the building.
Okay. A pillow. I thought you said a bloody pillow.
Yeah, pillow. Beat up a pillow with drumsticks.
You never know with punk.
No.
What about you, Anne-Marie? What do you play?
So I play bass, and then we all chop and change basically. So I sing, play bass, do some backing vocals. So we take it in turns. There are 4 of us writing songs now, and we kind of, pass instruments over and then all write songs in very different ways about very different things.
I love it. I love it. So wherever you're listening to this, I'll make sure I put the link down below. So whether you're on the YouTube or whether you're on podcast platforms, whatever, I will put some links to the Nannas so that you can check them out live. So there's also a difference between a woman over 50 taking up a hobby and a woman over 50 who decides that she doesn't care anymore about what she's supposed to be doing at this time in her lives. And did you reach a point that you stopped? Like I totally, in my 50s, I remember 50 thinking, fuck yes. Like the estrogen left and I was just like, I care deeper. However, I also don't care at all what you think now, and I'll just do what I want. So did any of you have that kind of crossover?
I think I found every changing of the decade or moving into the next phase like a rite of passage. And certainly I'm now 61, and I definitely at this point realise I've got less years ahead of me than I had behind me. I've had 2 parents with dementia, so that's been a huge kind of journey for me. But now I really know I have to speak my mind and be brave and do things to get over myself, if you know what I mean, because the others will tell you I've started singing and I really didn't want to start singing, and now somehow or another I'm singing. And yesterday I actually had a couple of compliments about my singing getting stronger and brighter and kind of sharper. So it was like, wow, where's this voice? Obviously as a child I was in a choir. We live in Wales, the land of song. We're all told we can sing, and I think that's a good kind of delusion to have, because perhaps you sing because you're actually, not frightened of it. So I was in choirs when I was young, and then again when I was older. Played the violin and recorder as a child. Was always around musicians, but always gave people lifts or had to work hard to earn money. I'm still a nurse in the NHS, the National Health Service here. So I was always the person who enabled the kids or enabled other people. And then I thought, do you know what? I have got a lot to say about everything, and this is a really great way of channeling that.
Totally. And that's the thing when we're younger, and particularly when what I call the people-pleasing hormone, which is estrogen, when it's high, we do. That's what makes us, it's the nurturing hormone. So we look after everyone else. And as that naturally drops like it's meant to, all of a sudden we start finding our voices. I love doing that. That's so cool.
I've been involved with other community projects in the past with patients and carers, all sorts of people. And so, yes, they've been following me because I've done some storytelling in the past as part of empowerment of people that live with all sorts of stuff. But yeah, my colleagues are all like, oh my God, this is hilarious. I only work 2 days a week now because I took some time out to be a carer for a year actually because my parents were so ill themselves, and I'm just working part-time now.
So what about the other two of you?
I'm deep into perimenopause at the moment. So, how I'm feeling about things just really depends on whatever hormone is surging forward at that point. So at some point I can be like completely anxious about it all and thinking, oh my God, this is too much. But my husband has said to me, well, you're going to be anxious about something, so you might as well be anxious about being in a cool band. So yeah, I was like, okay. And other days, when the different hormones coming forward, then it's like, oh yeah, I get whatever. I don't care. It's all good. So yeah, it just really depends.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll level out at some point.
It will. It does. It does.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you can't trust how you really feel about something because you're thinking like, what is me, and what is my hormones? That's what I find weird.
Yeah, and so the real you's trying to come through as the hormones change. The real you is there, the one who's been on hold while you looked after everyone. That's what's happening, and part of that kind of almost like rites of passage kind of time that this is, it's emerging and it's questioning everything, and so everything's just a bit unsettled, but it's kind of meant to. And because culturally we don't really have this rites of passage stuff that happens, there's nothing from the women who've come before us to guide us through this time.
Yeah, it's so true. So really, I just have to kind of think, wow, it's like a fun. So, just keep going.
Yeah, you will move through it, I promise.
Hooray!
You will.
You will. And Marika?
Yeah, well, I'm 60 now, and I think when I hit my mid-50s, it was like a real, like Anne-Marie said, it suddenly becomes really apparent of the less time ahead of you. And because I've never really known what I want to do, I end up doing things, and I have passions about things, but I've never been the sort of person who goes, I'm going to do this, and then I envisage in my 5-year plan. There's never been anything like that. But I could certainly feel this really strong shift. And also, I had this real need, and I don't know if it was, part of it maybe could have been self-destructive, but it felt like a real urge. I just had to walk away from lots of things that I had been doing up to that point. And it was almost like, if you take away all those things that identify you, what are you? And it's actually quite a scary, scary place to be, and also highly liberating and exciting. So it's like balancing constantly on this thing. So like, say, just the time before returning to Wales, I just went traveling. I traveled on my own around India for 5 months. And I mean, that was such a good lesson in just really having to be present, be in this moment now. I think, yes, going through this huge change and realizing that the body is changing, then things where you had a choice before, you don't have that choice anymore because the body is doing this thing. The hormones are doing this thing. What you can biologically do is changing. So coming back to the band, for me, it just always feels such a wonderful let off, like a form of expression. It's an energy that's coming together, with not just the other band, but the audience as well. It's like this alchemy starts happening. And it's strong. It's very powerful.
It's a very pure exchange.
Yeah, it is pure. There's no bullshit.
Is everything. It's just pure
Yeah.
energy.
There's no time for an audience to go, oh, do I like this or not? Or, or criticize it, because it's very immediate, and music is so immediate. And it's fine if you don't like it, but there's something, I think, that, don't know, it's tapping in with people's energy, definitely. Young and old, male and female. Yeah.
Yes, totally. Love it. So did any of you have something in the past that you had put on hold that you'd actually thought, oh, I really want to do this, kind of like when you grow up, and then you never did it because you're doing families and all those things? Like, did any of you secretly want to be a musician of some kind or anything? Was there anything that you did put on hold and now it's just like, yeah, bring it on?
Mm. But for me, no, because I guess my what I've been involved with in the past is dance, experimental performance art, and music. Not that I know always what I'm doing. I don't know what the notes are. I play by ear, So, and I've always, I guess, been drawn to situations that are more improvised. So I feel lucky in that way. I haven't got kids. I don't have a home. So I haven't got, say, the commitments like, say, Claire here or Anne-Marie have got kids. So it's going to be different, I guess, for I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Well, I suppose actually when I've got 16-year-old twins. Yeah, they like it. Yeah. They think it's cool. Yeah, one of them's been to see us so far. I'm sure the other one will at some point. Yeah, they really like it. But actually, when they were growing up, it was after I'd had a year with the twins, it was me that went back to work, and my husband stayed at home with the girls. So, I was able to have a career and do all that kind of stuff, and still have plenty of time with the girls. I was very lucky. In a very selfish way, flipping love going out and seeing bands and doing all that stuff. So it's pretty amazing now that they don't need a babysitter. So, now try and persuade them to come along with us as much as I can. But yeah, just being able to go out and, be amongst other bands, seeing new music, finding a new favourite bands, all apart from, playing our own stuff. It's just great to see all the other bands that are on the bill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, what your kids think?
Well, my son is 32 and he watched the documentary last night with his boyfriend and messaged me and said he cried. I know. So he was just really moved by this BBC documentary that's on iPlayer and coming out on BBC One on the 7th of August, because there's a lot of truth in what we say and how we open up, but not in a dramatic way. I just think we're honest about some of the struggles we've had, those sorts of things. So, yeah, my son's a drag queen actually in Cardiff.
Oh, give him a hug for me.
Yeah, that's what he does. And he manages to perform all the time. And, that's his career. So he was able to give up hospitality 6 years ago, something like that, and just performs all the time. So his drag name is Polyamorous. So you have to check him out. He's absolutely beautiful. He's got great legs and he's hilarious. His comedic timing is brilliant. Yes, polyamorous. So I've just been to watch him for my birthday. I went to watch him doing a drag rugby match in the main stadium in Cardiff against like these huge rugby players. And it was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, so the drag queens were, whacking the big massive rugby players out the way with their handbags kind of thing and then scoring tries. It was hilarious. So try and find that on the Welsh news, honestly. It was, and 4,000 people came to see it and they made 20 grand for children's cancer charity. So I'm in awe of my son and everything he's been through, from coming out age 15 in a village in Wales to, now being somebody who, is absolutely amazing at what they do. And then my daughter's 27 and she's a bit of a farmer, but she works in a city farm in Bristol. She's managing St. Werburgh's farm, age 27. She can drive a tractor. She can, handle shearing a sheep or putting a fence post in. She's cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You're a cool mum. That's the best. So good.
We've survived quite a lot, so we're all very proud. I've made them really independent of me, if you know what I mean, because you've got to be strong, I think, in life. I've certainly had to stand on my own 2 feet. I was a single parent, and I was very skint at some points, had no money, had to go without food sometimes, stuff like that, in order for us to all kind of get somewhere. But we've all got there, and we're all great. So I'm really pleased that we're all at a good point now.
Nice. I love it. Well done, Mum. So a lot of women reach, say, 40, and they say it's too late to start something new. Where I'm like, just fucking try anything. That's my personality. So what do you say to a woman who says, oh, it's too late to start stuff?
I can jump in or start this one. I think a woman at 40, but I would say for many, many people, they've often got the voice. My cousin calls it the internal kernel that is the self-critic and, will stop you doing things. But I always think if you feel stuck or blocked, it's almost like just try it and sometimes just approach something almost from a different angle, So, and if you thought I want to draw or I want to do something, or just start really, really simply, really, really simply. It's like making the first mark or throwing paint against the wall and then, kind of seeing where you go from there. And sometimes putting a time limit on something. So if you're on your own and if you think, oh, I really want to try a class in this or do exercise or drawing, just sort of put a time limit on something like 3 minutes, 1 minute, and just give something a go. And close your eyes and do something. It's almost like taking the normal channels away that are normally going, no, you can't do this. Ooh. It's like upsetting a pattern, I think.
There's also a thing around, isn't there, about people only wanting to do something or try something if they think they're going to be good at it. And actually, that's not the important thing. I just think it's so important to be curious about stuff, and maybe look out and see something that might be mildly interesting. Maybe there's like a club or a workshop or a hobby or something, and it might not be a perfect thing. It's worth investigating these things because maybe you'll meet a person who's interesting, who tells you then about something else that's interesting. Or, if you're staying closed, you're never going to find anything. And we've got such a cult of perfection, I think, in our society. And it's got to be more about the doing and the fulfillment you get from the doing than from, being good at something per se.
And that's really clear, I think, what you said about, sometimes it's like, what is the journey to the place that you're going? What's going to happen on that journey? Who might you meet or who might you meet at the place that you're going to? And that is often where the magic is or where something happens, isn't it? Because, keep your antennae out.
I think it's about who you surround yourself with as well. I just got when you have certain friends.
Yeah.
I go to see I think of my friend in Kira, and whenever I go to see her, I come back with a new thing that I'm into. Because she's always got a hobby that she's interested in, and she's gone into it kind of quite deep. And I come away being like, oh, I might try that, or I might try that part of it. So if you've got friends if you've got a Marega in your life, or you've got Anne Marie in your life, who's interested in things, then they're gonna spark loads of connections, and they're gonna spark loads of more interest for you. So you don't want to surround yourself with people who are going, oh, what are you doing that for? You want a group of people who are like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Tell me more, or how can I get involved?
Agree. I was actually just going to ask you, has any of you had someone at some time in your life who shut you down creatively? Anyway, about creative stuff. Yeah, a parent or a teacher or a lover or something. And you kind of went, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
I think all of those things. And then I think this angry adolescent part of me wants to do it more if I'm told I can't do it or things. And the other thing I was thinking as you were just talking was things I call different things, I now realise is something else. So perhaps I would have doodled or scribbled, and I can now call that drawing, you know what I mean? And perhaps I would have kept a diary as a teenager, about my boyfriend or something like that, right? Or I will just write down a quote from, some Buddhist person or whatever. And then I thought, oh, this might be journaling. And I realised part of that then was songwriting or writing a poem. So whatever words I've put together, I now realise probably was this sort of stuff that was going on, but I just didn't label it as that. I just put it down as like what happened or what the thought was, or what had wound me up that day. So if I saw somebody throw rubbish in a lay-by when they pulled over, and just threw a cup or a can out of the window, and that I'd go away and I'd write something down about that. So just like, I'm really fed up with that bloke today doing this, do you know what I mean, or whatever. And then I realised I was writing more about the same sort of stuff, but I didn't ever call it songwriting. I just called it journaling or scribbling my thoughts down.
Yeah, I think there's something really special about being an all-female band as well, because there's a real energy amongst us of, well, you've got some words, bring them. We'll see if we can put some music to it. There's like just such an encouraging openness to it, and there's not the same competitiveness that you get.
Collaboration, not competitive.
Yeah. I think we've got quite a lot of male energy amongst us, but at the same time, there doesn't seem to be the same kind of ego that goes with that. So I think that does create a lovely environment, doesn't it? Because I'm completely new to this. I'm new to playing guitar, new to writing songs, and actually I felt like really empowered to bring my ideas forward, and that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
And you're such a natural.
Oh, yeah.
She's such a natural. She's brilliant.
You're the most demure bunch of women. You look all just so not punk rock band chicks. I love that.
Yeah. It almost
so good.
Not looking like the stereotypical.
I don't know what you meant to look like, but I love so much that you've just got this oozing out of you. It's, especially Claire, it's like, I love that you're saying that you're the natural. And you said when you went to those music classes and stuff, you'd had nothing. You'd not picked up an instrument or anything. And here you are, a natural.
No, well, I don't know about that. She's been very kind. I'm still only a few chords into the guitar, but as long as it makes the right noise, it's all right.
Yeah.
So
and we only want three. No, well, three notes is complicated. You only need one note. And you've kind of got a rhythm. 2 notes is all right. 3 notes, you're pushing it a bit.
Yeah.
God help us if we do.
I play ukulele with a bunch of oldies, and I turn into a rock chick with me ukulele. Yeah. And I've got maybe 5 or 6 chords I can play confidently. But do you know what? I have the best time. It's so...
You could do a gig with us at that level. I'm telling you now, you'd fit with us.
Next time I head over to the UK, I'm going to come and play with you.
You're welcome. Please do.
Oh, you don't know how much I'd love that. That'd be the best.
Yeah.
So punk's meant to be unapologetic for taking up space. It really is just that here we are kind of vibe. And at 50, you've spent 30 odd years learning to take up, well, maybe less space. I don't know. It depends on you. But how have you brought all of you to this, especially on the stage, when life has in our 20s, 30s and 40s to maybe not be as bold as we can be at this age?
It's tricky. We did a workshop with Ren from the Petrol Girls, who's like a real sort of icon in the punk world, isn't she? And she had made us do an exercise where we had like a group of sort of 20 women, and we had to think about what made us angry. And then we walked around this room and we had to just shout. So in our own little world, but amongst everyone else, we had to shout what we were angry about. And that was just unbelievably difficult. Well, I found it unbelievably difficult. And I know a lot of the other ladies did as well. It became a bit easier when she gave us her words to shout. But there was just something about shouting your own words.
Well, it's also releasing that voice, because it's like, I guess if you think you get so used to just, this is the voice that you speak with, and you might have your la, la, la voice when no one's kind of really looking. To actually release your voice is a really big thing. And years ago, there was this wonderful woman called Ida Karolova or something, and she was this wild Czech gypsy woman, and she did this voice workshop. And she said, "Okay, you are in the middle of a lake. You are drowning. You want to tell me on the side of the shore you're drowning." And it was amazing because, you might use your voice. She's going, "No, I can't hear you." And then you would just hear people's voice erupt from their gut. And she's going, "There's your voice." Because we're just not used to using it in life, are we?
I do find now, actually,
Like
when
society says, be good little girls and keep your mouth shut. Like, we're raised to be quiet.
Yeah. And when I sing on stage, I sing full pelt. That's how my voice comes out.
Yeah.
But I do find that when I'm in the house, I don't practice in the house at that volume. I'll only practice like in the car. Because you can sort of like go full pelt and really shout.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when the Kate Bush comes out as well. But it's that's in the house. You've still got a sense of people might be able to hear,
witnessing or listening. And I just finished a book about which lent of Claire Britt Smith, who played with the Fall years ago, and she said it was in her older years, and she stopped playing for like 15 years and started playing again. Started singing, and she went, "Where's this voice come from?" Because it was a different voice to her younger voice, and she'd gone through a lot of experience in that 15 years, a lot of life changing and blah blah. But so it is allowing this voice to. It's like it's coming up from the deep end.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, how did you find finding your voice, Anne-Marie?
Well, I think that workshop that Claire's saying was an incredibly powerful one for so many women, because she had us howling like wolves. And she also, this woman had us shouting things really full force into her mic, saying things like, "Touch me again and I will fucking kill you. Touch me again and I will fucking kill you." And for some women in this room, they'd never been able to feel anger, or the anger had never come up. And some of those women had been abused or just left very difficult relationships. And all of a sudden they were like, "Wow, this is better than therapy." And it was naturally just being said. Some of them had been in therapy for years, but that workshop actually let them feel something they hadn't been able to feel even through counselling. So I think there's a huge strength in just, obviously all of us, certainly age 61, I've had big suffering and big struggles in my life. And I think having experienced that really raw emotion that actually you think you're going to die because you're kind of that overwhelmed by it. I think once you've been through those levels of pain, that stuff has to come out, and then this is definitely a way where you can get some of that out, especially your frustrations or things that you're annoyed about on an everyday basis, those sorts of things. So, we talk about whatever's winding us up.
Punk rock instead of therapy. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Or as well as.
As well as. The first paid gig was in 2025. How did it feel? Did you go like, "We're actually doing this"?
Yeah, it was a shocker, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a shock. Yeah, we played it at the Canopy in Cardiff, which is a really cool little venue, isn't it? And we sold out, and we had a couple of bands supporting us, and they were a bit younger than us. What was really amazing is when we came off, the drummer from one of the other bands, they're an amazing punk band, aren't they? He went, "Oh my God, that's the most punk rock thing I've ever seen." That's like chaotically getting through a set. He was like, "Wow, that was just the most punk rock thing I've ever seen." And I was like, "Oh my God, I feel so happy."
Because I think there's an element, I guess when anyone is putting themselves out on a stage or whatever, those watching, there's something in the human instinct that it's waiting for fail. It's waiting for something to fall down. And it actually can make us feel quite good sometimes. Or, you feel like more of a connection with something that's going to... And I think we're so sort of tottering on the edge of holding a song together. Or, you know, our danger maybe now is we're getting a bit too slick with the songs. We need to turn it all upside down.
I know
again.
someone did say the other day, didn't they? They were like, "Oh my god, you know when to start and when to end."
Yeah, because before we were like, how does
Well, you're real musicians. I love that you're not considered to be kind of like a kid hobby group of older women giving it a crack. You're, as we'd say in Australia, it's like you're considered to be real musicians. And that's seriously inspiring. Do you have people, younger people or whatever, come up to you and go, oh, I wish I could be you?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that's happened. And it's like on the one hand you go, no, you fucking don't. You know, because you know your own life and you live it. But no, it is wonderful in the fact that you are being a different role model for someone that's younger without setting out to be that. You are
other things are possible.
other things are possible. And
Yeah.
other ways of expressing yourself is possible. And I love it because suddenly, you know, the age difference that you often feel in the normal society dissipates totally. And you're just all in the same pool, you know, you're vibing on whatever is there, the music or attitude or...
Yeah, and lots of people
Yeah.
have said we've been, you know, inspired them to pick up an instrument or start a band. I know, Anne-Marie, you were chatting to those lovely girls who had come to see us busking outside the cab.
And they were only 14 years of age, and they'd been to see us twice. And they were like, I've got a pen, please can you write your name on my arm? And I was saying, don't have that tattooed, will you? Or your parents will kill us. Yeah, so we've had right the way through from 14-year-old girls who were following us around, right through to an actual waspy woman. So this is a woman born in the 1950s who's been, you know, seriously disadvantaged by not being given enough notice about pension changes. And she was, you know, I think she was in her late 70s, maybe 80. She's a harmonica player herself, but she was up and really dancing when we were at a pub in Cumbrae called the Queen Inn. And afterwards she said, you're really inspirational. So we got that whole age range of people. But not only that, it's not just women. You know, there's a guy that's been in the Newport music scene forever called Ramis, who's just written a song, and he's kind of, you know, never puts himself on people, but he's just written a song, and I've said in the autumn you can get on stage and sing your song with us. And he's like, oh my God, you don't know what this means to me. The fact that you know, respect me enough, the fact that you actually think I can do this is amazing. Or we've
That's really
had
good.
yeah, exactly. And it's about hecklers going to the Pride Parade in Newport, and you know, so it's about, you know, standing up to people like that. But we've also had college students that have been along to film us, and we've said to them, you know, learn E, just E, or just play E as a string, and perhaps you can come along and just play a song with us, you know.
Oh,
You know, oh, yeah.
I'd love to play with these in the future. It's now
Yeah, you can.
Come on, Jane, come
part
on.
of my bucket list. I want to go and play with
So we've just been with Loud Women, who are an international kind of global platform for women. We've just been to New York and done our gig in May. But Loud Women Festival comes over. Cassie Fox, who heads it, brings it over to Australia. They're over in Australia this November, doing gigs in Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney. So
check it
you
out.
know,
Yeah.
work out how we can come over to Australia and do Loud Women
On that lap.
Australia.
And Brisbane's an hour from me, an hour's drive. My
Oh,
hometown where I grew up.
Well, if anyone's tuning in that's got loads of money who wants to pay for
Yeah,
us
who
to
wants
come
to
over.
fly you guys over to
yeah,
the side of the world?
yeah. We'll do some work. We'll do some workshops. We'll do Q&As. We'll show our documentary. We'll tell your communities how to get this going. Just bring us over there. Let's get some funding.
There you go. You never know what's possible. Love it. That's magnificent manifesting. You never know who's going to listen to this podcast and go, yeah, bring these girls down under. I love it.
Yeah. Put it out there, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. That's how you do it. So, you're not a cautionary tale about never giving up on your dreams. You're the opposite. You're women who've said there's more to life. Have any of you done like, I wish I'd done this earlier?
It's the right time for everything.
Yeah, I think
right
there's
time.
the right time for everything. You know, it's like traveling. I used to think, why haven't I gone to India before? And it's like, no, because you're 58 and now's the time to go and travel on you know, those sort of things. And, you know, and being with the Nannas now, it's like, no, it's the time now, because actually it's like, the older you get, the naughtier you can be, and you fucking get away with it. And I mean, you know, if you've got the naughty gene in you, you've got it. But when you're younger, you just get in trouble or, you know, arrested and shit like this. But as an older, you could go, oh, sorry, my mind was just like blah, 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 blah. So I'd say that as well. Take advantage.
Oh, you're right. I love it. Milk it. That's so good. For all of you, I'm curious if you could go back to your 18-year-old self with all the wisdom you've got today. What would you say to yourself, especially like this time in life? What would you say?
I don't know. I think I'd say keep going, because there's loads of fun stuff ahead.
Yeah, I think I'd try and tell my younger self to like yourself, because I wasn't friends with myself when I was younger. So I think I would tell them, you're all right. All the shit isn't your fault. You know, I would say that. And yeah, and that made me that thing of going, look, this is what you're going to do in the future. It would be like, fuck. No ways. Yeah.
Yeah, to be able to start a new thing late in life is an amazing thing. To feel like, you know, like Anne-Marie was talking about each sort of decade, to feel like you could have a completely new iteration of yourself at different stages is amazing. It seems much more possible for women now. It seems to be a thing that women just do, that you can have a few different careers, that you can try a few different things, that you don't have to be the same. You know, I think that's just so positive.
Yeah.
And if you know, and if we can in any way kind of inspire people to do, you know, I don't think your dream has to be massive. I think that's the thing. I think we're sold by the media all the time that your dream has got to be, you know, that you've got to be Madonna. I love Madonna, but you've got to be that thing. But actually, maybe you don't. Maybe you can play an instrument and enjoy that in your house, or maybe you can write a story and you can send it to all your mates, or maybe you can have a book club and really, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't have to be a massive
No, and I think lots of things in society now kind of almost lead you to believe that, well, you can't do that until you've got a producer, or you can't do that until you've got this. And I would say, fuck that. If you've got an itch, just scratch the itch, you know, and enjoy the scratch. Yeah, and then just see what happens. Yeah, just constantly be. You mentioned the word curiosity earlier, so it's just be curious all the time. Yeah. What happens? Oh, what happens now if I do this? What happens? Rather than woof.
Yeah, I think Jen, you do a lovely thing on your podcast. Is that you have some people on, quite a lot of people on, who are kind of maybe more normal people that are doing, you know, unusual things or extraordinary things. Because I found actually listening to a lot of podcasts, on some of them, it's just like extraordinary people all the time, and actually that can be a little bit demoralising when you're, you know, when you're a woman at home and you've got looking after your kids, or you're doing caring like Anne-Marie. Maybe, you know, you feel like maybe if you're not the CEO of an international corporation, then maybe you're less than. And actually, it's not about that. It's about, if you're enjoying this 5 minutes of your life, then you're winning, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I have such a range of women. I just want to talk to regular women who can share. And that's the thing. You don't have to be this bloody A-lister to have amazing wisdom to help other women. I just want women to share their stories.
I think never give up to your inner child. I think play a lot. And I love that about music, in that I'm playing a lot, you know, around with things. I'd love to be able to still climb trees. I like hugging trees. I go swimming in the river and I wobble off on my bike still, you know. So all those things I'd have done as a child, you know, sat and looked at bluebells in the woods or whatever, letting go of the wonderment of things, or like they said, curiosity about things, or just being brave enough to express yourself in whatever way you are. Finding a feather can be the most magical thing, can't it? When you're out for a walk, or just the right leaf coming out of the tree and you catch it, those sorts of things. So it's never overlooking those little things that actually are massive and connect you to everything. They're what help me when I'm feeling lonely. But the other big thing I've been able to do, I think, better, which I never knew I could do when I was young, is I can now live on my own, which has been massive, because as a woman, I was told you can't ever live on your own. You've always got to be with other people, and those sorts of things. And obviously, I've got my dog and cat companions, but I'm okay with that. And I think that's been a huge shift. And I think for other women, I know that's been a shift for them as well, in that they're choosing not to be in dreadful relationships with the wrong person. They're choosing to actually honour themselves in a better way.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. So if a burned out woman, midlife woman, is listening to this right now and is thinking, but I've got responsibilities, I've got people counting on me, I can't just blow up everything for a passion project, what would you tell her about kind of like the difference between responsibility and complicity? Like between giving everything to everyone else, but still giving to yourselves?
Well, you use the word responsibility, and I'd kind of put the that responsibility to yourself within there, and it's like it's carving out the time, and it's going back to that thing earlier of even if it's a tiny amount of time, a few minutes, 5 minutes, carve it out for yourself, because if you allow yourself just time to be with yourself, or to do something, it's like food, it's soul food. And yeah, it's the nurturing, isn't it? It's like the nurturing of yourself, and then you can be better. You can be a happier person with people around you. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of have to work around, as a band, we're working around all our responsibilities as well, aren't we? Like Anne-Marie said about, going to see a mum, I'm often sort of saying, Mariga, do you want to pop over and do this? And, you're with your mum over in Cardiff, or, if someone's having a holiday and a gig comes in, I had to say, we got offered a gig, and I had to say, oh, I'm going away with my family and my kids. And everyone was like, well, that's it then. You don't cancel a holiday with your children because a gig might come up. So I think that's the way we're kind of negotiating it, and like, you're not negotiating. That's the way that we're kind of navigating it. In that we are mindful of everyone else's responsibilities. That this is kind of a release, and it's a fun thing for us, but also people have got stuff going on, and and that's why you can't say to people, "Come on, give everything up, like blow your life up, get out in the world." We've got to. I was thinking the other day. I said I'm about to go to rehearsals, and I was like, "Oh, I bet Tom Morello wasn't like prepping food before he went off to rehearsals." It's like you've still got that stuff to do. You've still got to make sure that there's food in the fridge, because not because that's a drag, but because you want to have that full life, and we all want to have that full life.
But you're still carving out for yourselves as well.
Yeah, exactly. Look after yourselves. You do have, you do have responsibility within your world for other people. But at the same time, like Meg said, you can carve out little spaces for yourself.
Because those little spaces, before you know it, become a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And that's why I think it's one of the most useful things I've learned over the last few years is, and I'm not a friend of the TikTok time, but sometimes I just put a 3-minute timer on and a 5-minute timer on and go, this time is for this now. And it's brilliant because you just frame that time and you don't let anything else interrupt it. And it could be like, I'm going to make a cup of tea and just look out the window and observe that. And, you know, and then like Anne-Marie says, you start noticing detail, a leaf or a feather, or these tiny things become huge. They become signifiers to something. So, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. I'd love to hear from each of you, or if you've got a joint mission, what is the big dream for the Nannas moving forward?
It's tricky, isn't it? I think for me personally, although we do need to have a discussion about this, don't we, guys? But for me personally, it's just taking one thing at a time. I think it becomes a bit overwhelming otherwise. So I just try and concentrate on the next thing that's happening. So today it's being you, Jen. It's JJ today. And then at the weekend, we've got a festival coming up and we're playing like on the Saturday and the Sunday. So after this, we'll start sort of thinking about that and, you know, preparing for that. So I think we're just trying to, and everyone else jump in, I think we're just trying to get as much fun out of what's happening to us at the moment and just seeing what's the next thing that pops up. Because it's been a pretty mad time in the past year, hasn't it?
Yeah.
None of us expected this to be kind of happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just getting the most out of what's, you know, most fun out of what we're experiencing.
For me, I don't feel like there's a big dream. I just think it is. It's just seeing what is unfolding next with it, and just, I guess, yeah, just looking for those opportunities. If you like, go, oh, that actually sounds fun, you know, and it's, I don't know, the more kind of maybe unusual situations we could find ourselves playing in. I think for me, I think, oh yeah, that sounds good, you know, because it's just that thing of spreading an energy, I think, you know.
Yeah, and you know, and if you've done something and afterwards you think, which I normally do, is like, oh my God, we just did that. I can't believe we did that. Then that's the goal in itself. Although Anne-Marie, what's yours? I bet have you got a plan? Anne-Marie's got a plan.
I think we've got an album coming together in that we put an EP out with 5 tracks on. I've just spent the weekend in the studio putting down some vocals. So this is based on the way that men chat up older women, in my experience. And so basically, I've had said to me, I bet you were lovely back in the day, or I bet you were beautiful once. And you're like, what? Is that a chat up line? So I've got this song, Be Beautiful. So I've just spent the weekend in the studio with Jade doing the drums, with a click track, with Jeff doing the guitar, just to kind of get that kind of happening and me getting the vocals done. So at the moment, I just need to, Meg says, whenever new songs come up, Meg says we birth them. And I've had quite a difficult kind of pregnancy and birth with this song. So I'd be very glad when this baby arrives. And tonight, hopefully, that's going to happen. So I'm about to give birth to a song this evening, big time. And then I think Claire's new song is absolutely brilliant about everyone thinking they're neurospicy or, you know, this label ADHD that's going on around the world. So, you know, there's 2 new songs coming into our 45 minutes of original track. So I think we got an album coming together. That's my latest kind of thinking.
Well, I look forward to it. We so again, I'll get the links from the girls for all of the how to follow you all and how to check out your thing. You got your own YouTube channel, I hope.
We've got more stuff on.
I'm shit with social media.
Right, so Jade is only 30. She's our drummer. So there's a whole story around that, but she's great with social media. So we've got an EP out called Manifesto. That's on Spotify, Bandcamp, and SoundCloud. Our YouTube needs a bit more work, but there is some stuff now up on YouTube. You know, Marega's Song The Isles, etc., are up there. And the best place really to look for us is on Instagram, you know, at the Nannas Band on Instagram, and then we're at the Nannas Wales on Facebook. So there's lots of ways of kind of looking at what we do. And our festival,
black t-shirt.
Like,
yeah, so we've got, yeah.
Right, all right, done. I will. I look forward to helping to promote you all. I think you're
Oh,
fabulous. You inspire me to the max. I was so excited to see what you were doing. My inner rock chick just thinks you're cool.
You're rocking that.
oh.
Yeah,
We,
it's out of you I can see from here.
I tried
Oh.
guitar. It didn't work with my spicy brain, but I can play a ukulele.
No, so I've got a very spicy brain, and I really didn't get on with guitar, and I tried it for 4 years, and it just drove me nuts, right? But
Yeah.
I do get on with the bass
Oh,
because I feel that.
cool.
I feel that, and I've got kind of, yeah, and that helps me be much more mindful because it's about going with my inner timing and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's the thing. I
maybe
just get
just,
excited. The mob at the ukulele
yeah,
group, I play everything double time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just
yeah.
started like a pig then.
It's oldies and I crack them up. I can't help. Let's just play this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mob.
Yeah, just to clarify though, my song is about me in perimenopause and how it brings out ADHD symptoms. How the kind of change in hormones brings out ADHD. So when I'm sort of singing she's got ADHD, it's about me. It's not about anyone else. It's about that kind of the stuff that happens to you and how you then are trying to make sense of it. So
Well, good.
that's
Well, I look forward to sharing what you are and what you're doing with this podcast. So thank you. I'm stoked.
Oh, thank you,
Really
Jen.
am.
I'm gonna need to go.
Yeah, totally. It is
Yeah,
time to
so
go. Thank
yeah,
you for
yeah.
everything, everyone. I appreciate you.
yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Talking.
Great to meet you.
All good. See you later.
See you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
That's it for today. If this conversation lit up something in you, subscribe and share it. Because one woman rising is powerful, but a chorus, that's unstoppable. If you know someone I should talk to, a woman who's faced the flames and come back even more fierce, send her my way. This isn't just a podcast, it's a reckoning. It's women reclaiming space, voice, and their strength. Until next time, stay loud, stay fit, and keep rising because we were never meant to fade. We're here to rise strong together. I'm Jen Jefferies, and we are just getting started.